even though, man, he and I don't seem to agree on much. It's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Coach Eric Mangini. Coach, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you for making the time for me. Let's just start right where we should, which is, do you think the Chiefs will win 3 or 4 Super Bowls in a row?
My week, my holiday, my year would not be complete without being able to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and their ability to develop a massive, massive dynasty. Here's what I'll say, Nick, and I told you this from personal experience, is that after we won the first Super Bowl, we didn't handle success very well. And success is like anything else. You have to learn how to win, just like, unfortunately, you got to learn how to overcome losses. And we didn't do a good job with that. And not a lot of teams that win the Super Bowl do a good job with that. What I like about Kansas City is what Patrick Mahomes is doing. Not from a playing perspective, but he signs that contract, and I know it's $500 million, but really over the next 3 or 4 years, it's team friendly, and that allows them to compete going forward. And it also shows a maturity, an unselfishness, and that to me gives them the best chance to be a dynasty out of any of the things that are happening. To have your best player seemingly be one of your best people and be unselfish in terms of what his teammates can possibly get and allow the team to continue to build, that gives him a chance, a real chance.
I want to throw a bit of a curveball at you on the Chiefs, then we'll move on. Of the potential playoff teams in the AFC, is there one particular team that you think is best suited to give Kansas City problems? Is there one team that sticks out? It's like, okay, if they get beat on that side of the bracket, more likely than not, it would be by this specific team, and why?
There's a few teams that I think could be a problem. You've got, Cleveland. Cleveland's getting hot, and what they can do in the running game, and then their ability to potentially control the clock. That could be an issue. I like Tennessee a lot, not for any other reasons besides their running game, and also I think Mike Vrabel's one of the brightest head coaches and can create some things and some problems similar to what you get from New England from a scheme perspective. And then Buffalo, they're hot. I love Brian Daboll. I love what he's done with not just the offense, but with the young quarterback. And that's an issue too. And what I found in the playoffs, Nick, is it's who's getting hot going into the playoffs. So you got the Steelers heading in one direction, you've got the Browns heading another direction. We were 5-5 our first year through 10 games. Then we got hot, and we got hot at the right time, and that's what carried us into the playoffs.
And if, for Kansas City, because Pittsburgh has nosedived and because they beat Buffalo head-to-head, it's not official, but they essentially have locked up. They can go 0-2. Buffalo and Pittsburgh can both go 2-0, and Kansas City's still the 1 seed. So to have a bye and have 2 games with not a lot to play for, the concern would be for me as a Chiefs fan that you go a month between meaningful games, whether or not you're as sharp as you need to be in that first playoff game against, by definition, a team that has just won a playoff game and maybe is playing its best football, right?
Yeah, and Nick, we talk about this twice a year, typically, not this year, but usually it's that last preseason game, and it's those late games in the regular season when a team's already got the 1 or 2 seed locked up, the bye locked up. Do you play guys? Do you not play guys? And it's gone both ways. There's been examples where you play people late and in games that are essentially meaningless, and some key player gets hurt, and everybody screams about that. And then there's the flip side where you don't play the first time out, you're rusty, you get knocked out when you shouldn't get knocked out, and everybody screams about that as well. I wish you could look at it and say, objectively, this is the best way to go. But I don't think there is one proven formula, and it's going to be debated every year.
All right. I don't know if you heard the last segment. If you did, I think you were probably proud of me. I was a little
NBA
ashamed.
trades?
No, before that, right before that, when I was scolding Juju Smith-Schuster for his dancing. I felt dirty doing it. It feels like the type of thing I'm supposed to support. But even the Patriots, I was wrong about Cam. I thought Cam was going to make them a contender. I thought Cam was going to be excellent. I was right that he wouldn't be a problem locker room-wise. You know what I mean? Like, he has been culturally great, and to his credit. Unfortunately, he doesn't look like he can throw the football anymore. I don't know what the hell is wrong with him, but it looks arduous just to watch him throw a football. They're eliminated from the playoffs, and they still won't start Stidham. Does that tell us everything we need to know about Jared Stidham? Like, what do you make of the fact that Stidham's not getting in these games?
Yeah, I was wrong about Cam, too. I didn't think he'd be able I was very skeptical whether he could actually fit into that locker room. And I didn't know if he'd even end up making the team. But I give him a ton of credit for the growth that he's shown and the openness that he's shown. And everybody you talk to, even people you talk to in the building, discuss his leadership, his personality. And he's in a terrible situation. He took over for a legend. The amount of opt-outs that they had, the injuries that they've had, they've lost their O-line coach. It's about everything that you could have to deal with. He's had to deal with, and maybe it's a function of Bill feels like he's earned the right to play out the string. I would imagine that it's probably yeah. That's the only thing I can point to, because it makes sense right now to play Stidham. He's thrown, 37 balls, and you're going to go into the season with him as your starter or potentially your starter. You really don't know more about him now than you did, and you probably should play him these final 2 games. That being said, Cam's done well above what New England's asked him to do, and this could be a function of give him the right to play out his last 2 games and see what he can do moving forward. He's earned that.
Oh, so that's almost like a good lesson for people in any industry. Like, if you do things the right way and you treat people right, you're going to have a much greater rope and margin of error than if you're a pain to be around and then the moment you can be yanked out of a lineup or sat down or whatever it is. So that's interesting because, and it's funny, you and I we totally disagreed about Cam, and we both ended up being wrong, but for different reasons. Like, in that, I thought he was going to be awesome, and you did. Right, I know. And so, all right, one last thing before you go, because we can't end on an agreement. Who's the league MVP?
Okay, again, another chance to come back to Kansas City. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. The guy's thrown 40 touchdowns and 4 picks. Arguably could have been the MVP last season, winning as many games as he did with a rookie head coach. And I always look at it as how would that player do on the other player's team? And I think that Aaron Rodgers would go to Kansas City and light it up. And I don't know if Patrick would have the same level of success that he has in Kansas. Well, look, he's got a Hall of Fame head coach who's the offensive coordinator. He's got multiple weapons, and he sat behind a legend and had time to learn. Aaron did as well. But that being said, I was talking to Zach, my youngest, and he said, Dad, when Aaron Rodgers plays badly, God, that team is bad. And I think that tells you all you need to know. If he's not playing great, it's not like Kansas City where you can throw 3 picks and still score 33 points.
Yeah, because it's a good point by Zach. What you should tell Zach is the difference is Mahomes never plays badly. I mean, he throws 3 picks and still score 33 points. I mean, he still scored 33 points against the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. That's all. You got
a load of talent around you. I mean, everybody there can do some pretty amazing things offensively.
No, it's true. I do know this. It's fine. You wouldn't say this, Coach, so I'll say this. I do know who the MVP is. It's Mahomes. Rodgers would be second. The LVP, the least valuable personnel person, is Brian Gutekunst, who tried to draft Aaron Rodgers' replacement instead of adding anyone else in the league. Coach Eric Mangini, Thank you, Coach. Merry Christmas. Give your best. Give my best to your family. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Nick. Great to see you, and have a great holiday.
Absolutely. You as well. There's my buddy, Coach Eric Mangini. Time now for the news with Joy Taylor.
No.